So once you're there, you'll see this administration box here. And to start a new site and project, you're going to want to click on Site and Project Setup. And then we're going to come up here to these boxes where we enter in search criteria. Basically, what we want to do is make sure that there is not an existing restaurant at this address in Sitefolio. So you want to select the country that this location is in, then the state, and then let's just say it's in Kennesaw, Georgia. So that's what you know about this new site. And then it's going to come up with any restaurants that are there. And you're going to know if the one that you're creating already exists by the site number. We're going to pretend like it's a brand new site. So we're not going to click Add Project. We're going to click Add Site right here. And then that drops you into the site setup step. We're going to walk through all of these steps to create a new site and project. So the first thing you want to do is click Select here to get the office address to populate. Enter in the PeopleSoft number, and I'm just going to enter in just something. These fields with the green ribbon, that means that those are required. So if it's empty, you can't move on to the next step until you fill it with data. I understand that sometimes really early on, you won't have a PeopleSoft number. So Jimmy was using temporary numbers to get the site created. It's okay to enter a temporary number and then go back in and change it later. One thing to keep in mind is that for the PeopleSoft number and the project number, there can't be duplicate PeopleSoft numbers. So they have to all be unique across all sites and projects. And the system will tell you if it already exists. Like if you try to continue, it'll tell you this already exists, and it'll make you change it. So then you're going to want to enter in the project name or the site name. And when you're setting up a new site and project, if you don't know what the address is, you don't have to enter it at this point, but at some point you're going to want to populate this field with the address. I'm just going to put in cross streets for now. And then if you don't have a zip code, you don't have to enter it. So I'm going to skip it. And then down here under site classification, just select the information as you know it. You can always go back in and, if you don't know what the concept is, you can enter it later. All right, so now that we're done with this page, I'm going to select Continue. And that's going to move us to Project Setup Step 1. And so we have our red ribbons here showing us that we have to enter a project number. So typically the way that Jimmy did it is he entered the PeopleSoft number and he added a -01. And then typically the site name and the project name were the same. And then if you want to add a description, you can. That's really all of you need to do at this step, and then hit Continue. So step 2 is where I want you to look at the user guide, because if you make a mistake in step 2, it's fixable, but it's difficult to fix. In the user guide that I revised today, I highlighted in red font all the areas that you need to make sure that you select correctly. So basically what you need to do is project status and project type. If you know it, you can select it. If not, you can go back and select it later. But the teams that you see here, always check the box for Sitefolio Support Administrator and CKE Restaurants Holdings, Inc. So we're always going to check these 3 boxes. And then if you know who the franchisee is, you can check their box too, because what this is doing is basically putting this new project that we're creating on these security teams and giving people access to view this project. So we're done with the security teams. We're going to come down to project template. And for you, you're going to choose CKE Remodel or CKE New Store, depending on what type of project it is. This is not a remodel, so I'm going to select New Store. The project template is things like the folder structure, how the project team gets labeled, that sort of thing. The folder structure for a new store is different than for a remodeled store. You'll see that as you get more familiar with Sitefolio. And then for custom forms, if it's a remodel project, then select those custom form boxes. If it's a new store project, then select these 2. So it's a new store, so I'm going to select lease review and site clearance. and then continue. And then all step 3 is just checking data to make sure you have it correct. You don't really need to enter anything here. So then what you want to do is select complete or save and go to project classification edit. So to enter a new business, and I'm going to be entering CKE, you just go to team and then CKE, click on options, and then add. And then you type in CKE and it will find it. So you select that. Then you select a location, which is RSC. And then the discipline is CKE, but you'll see that you have all these other disciplines to select. So now that we have our business selected, you want to add the people. The first person, let's just say, is Steve Barker. And notice how I found him. I started typing his name and it found him in the list. I'm going to just say other, and then I'm going to add a job alias, and I'll put Director of Construction. And then I'm going to add a project manager. This is really key. You always want to enter who the CKE Construction Project Manager is. So I'm just going to say it's Jack Cabrera. So you can keep adding people. Let's just pretend like this is it. So we just save, and that's it. In order for you to enter businesses on your project directories, they first need to exist up here in your global enterprise directory. So in this situation, you're going to want to enter them in the main directory first, then you can enter them on projects.